I did a video in the past about the 9 strongest Adderall alternatives that has gained 100,000 views, except you were curious about more options. And so that is what this video is about. Mescaline, derived from the San Pedro cactus. Believe it or not, it is nature's amphetamine, where it is officially classified as a hallucinogenic amphetamine. Crazily, and it's because it has a phenethylamine group that it has this effect. It will help you be more productive, except also help you enjoy the productivity, in that it'll help you reach your destination, except also enjoy the journey. Its mechanism of action is kind of weird in that it's nothing officially stated. It's hypothesized to be an agonist at the dopamine D1 and D2 receptor site, as well as the A1 and A2 adrenic site, as well as the 5-HT2A and C site. Don't believe me? Check Reddit, check the anecdotes. Look at Adderall alternatives on Reddit and you will see it come up time and time again. I was surprised too. I didn't believe it, so I may or may not have purchased it and tried it myself, and I was like, wow, this is actually really good. This is actually kind of great in that it kind of eliminates procrastination to a degree, so it helps you be more productive, as well as you're just more grateful too. You're enjoying the work that you're doing, whatever that work is. And if you are enjoying this video, please consider subscribing. It allows you to have more fun with your work, which also allows your work to be better. If you follow Ali Abdul, he recently released a book called Feel Good Productivity, and the ethos of this book is that you are the most productive when you are having the most fun, which can be when you're microdosing mescaline. Or any microdose really. I believe that microdosing is very similar to real-time CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, because in real time you're observing and changing your thought patterns for the better, as well as it's during a period of enhanced plasticity, so the effects stay longer. That being said, I'm not going to list a source because it is legal in some parts of the world. So if you can get it, get it. If you can't, there's other options out there. You know, it's in a famous drug family that also contains bromantane, memantane, because it has very strong dopaminergic effects, can increase dopamine synthesis, inhibit dopamine reuptake, and increase dopamine release. It is a trifecta for your catecholamine system, which is a beautiful thing, as well as it has a parity of effectiveness as methylphenidate for treating ADHD, in that it shares the same effectiveness. It has the same level of efficacy as that medication. Pretty crazy, fairly safe as well. It is regularly used off-brand to treat ADHD, as it focuses more on the dopamine aspect compared to the adrenic aspect, which can be good for some. And it's commonly used in child psychiatry, for Parkinson's patients, for a multitude of disorders, so it is fairly safe. With this compound, you know, Eastern European online pharmacies are your friend. Actually trialed as a treatment for Alzheimer's disease, for mild cognitive impairment, and for treating cognitive decline. It is very efficacious for improving cognition, and the main mechanism that it does do this is by increasing mitochondria function, which increases your mental energy, giving you more mental resources to devote to the task at hand, which increases your cognition. It's like when you drink coffee, you get an uptick in mental energy, and it can help increase your working memory and your motivation. Enhancing mitochondria function, it does the same thing in a more holistic and subtle, long-lasting way, as well as it is a reversible monoamine oxidase A inhibitor, increasing levels of dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin, as well as it is a powerful antiviral agent, a powerful antioxidant, and immune booster. It is similar to amphetamine in that it will enhance memory, mood, and motivation, except in a more holistic way. Because it does potently increase serotonin, there are contradictions with taking it with other compounds that increase serotonin, like SSRIs or psychedelics or anything along those lines. It has a dose-dependent response, with low doses increasing cognition and high doses decreasing cognition, kind of like nicotine. So you want to stay in the happy medium zone, which will vary person by person. Lysergic acid dithalamide, which naturally occurs on ergot, which is a moss that grows on barley, which has been used for thousands of years. Even so, there's increasing evidence that the Greeks would spike their wine with LSD, with ergot, which is pretty crazy to think. And Albert Hofmann, the first individual that chemically synthesized LSD, he postulated that if it wasn't for such a stigma, LSD would have replaced Ritalin for treating ADHD. All psychedelics affect the 5-HT2A serotonin receptor, which is very much the God receptor, allowing you to shake hands with God or whatever that entity is, enhancing your spirituality, increasing your mood, and turning up your holistic behaviors. Except downstream, it increases dopaminergic activity, so it can be a good target for productivity. And increasing productivity in a more holistic way, where you have more of a subtle intrinsic desire to do instead of a forced motivation that you have to be productive like stimulants. If you think about it, LSD is a dopamine D2 agonist, which is a receptor type that's very important for executive function. It also increases alpha brainwaves, which is the brainwave state of flow, being completely immersed in the task at hand. As well as Steve Jobs, turtleneck, he credits LSD largely for his success at Apple because it's very good for creativity, it's very good for motivation, and it's very good for mood. Commonly, the protocol to use is 1 day on, 2 days off to mitigate tolerance, because it can definitely build some tolerance. It is tough to get and illegal in most parts of the world. That being said, there is available some ergot derived dopamine agonist derivatives that are legal everywhere in the world that primarily affect dopamine, don't affect serotonin at all. So they're not psychedelic at all. You can get them from Idea Labs, and there's a few different options. You'll just have to research it yourself, which is the best one. And you can just take those transdermally, only used for research purposes, not safe for human consumption, wink, wink, cough, cough. Suboxone. It's similar to Ritalin in a lot of ways, and people don't really like it when I say that, except it's kind of true. It is a dopamine reuptake inhibitor. It lasts 3 to 4 hours. It increases anxiety. It is an extract derived from the Indian trumpet tree, standardized to aroxalin A, which is the main dopamine bioactive, which inhibits dopamine's reuptake, increasing dopamine levels in the synapse, increasing dopamine levels in your brain, allowing you to focus on what you need to focus on, and that it primarily affects dopamine. This DRI effect is largely responsible for the mind quieting and motivation inducing effect of Suboxone, as well as it is a SERT activator, so it is good for longevity. It increases CREB, which increases LTP, long-term potentiation, so it's good for encoding memories, as well as it is a GABA NAM, so a negative allosteric modulator at the GABA A receptors. So essentially it increases anxiety because of that effect, which is also pro-cognitive because GABA oftentimes can be anti-cognitive. Dosed at either 100 milligrams or 500 milligrams, it is kind of polarizing in that way, where some people will find very strong effects from a low dose, where other people will find the inverse. You can take it sublingually for a stronger effect as well. I kind of like the effects. It is good. It does do what it says it does do, except the crash is just kind of mean. It is a dirty, mean, angry crash where you're just a little bit off, you're a little bit agitated, you're a little bit low, a little bit more emotional. It would still be less than Ritalin, except it is significant for sure. There are solutions to this. You could just take it in the evening or during a day where you don't have any major social commitments afterwards. Or you could just take something to mitigate this low mood, like agmatine sulfate, like L-tyrosine. And so I've talked about a lot of different Adderall alternatives today and in my other videos, except if you want to know the best Adderall alternative, the number one compound that is the most efficacious, affordable, safest, accessible, check out this video where I talk about the best, the creme de la creme for an Adderall replacement.